this is Roger, thanks for dropping by. Don't worry, we're not going to do a feeding and all that stuff session. This is just a little experiment really. It's something I'm sure I've checked in the past, but the fact that somebody specifically asked, I thought I'd check it. Now that's my RO water. It's got my normal MSU fertiliser, that went up to 170 parts per million, and then I put calcium nitrate in there, that took it up to about 235 parts per million, which is where we should be now. Alright, 240 then, not a bad guess. So that's 240 parts per million, yeah? And so far I haven't messed with the pH. Now my pH for the RO water is 7, neutral, and adding the feed and the calcium nitrate has an effect on the pH, and it normally pushes it up a bit, not a lot. The MSU fertiliser has got pH buffers within it, which is supposed to help hold the pH at a reasonable level. The calcium nitrate wouldn't have anything like that in it, and there's a fairly high amount of that in here. Calcium being something that pushes pH up. That's what the hard water is all about. I'm expecting this to be about 7.2, 7.3, or 7.27, so yes, around 7.3. I don't bother with the decimal place, the extra decimal place. Right, so from there, what I would normally do, because I don't want my pH that high, I use citric acid. This is just citric acid granules that you can get in any supermarket, normally in the food area, in the baking area, or somewhere like that anyway. And this is quite a strong solution this time round, so I have to go careful and not add too much. But this effectively is a pH down, cheap version. And as I said, it's a recent mix, so I haven't quite got my head round exactly how much I need to do what I want yet. So I do it in smaller amounts rather than putting too much in and ending up with a ridiculously low pH. Right, so we started at just under 7.3. I've put some citric acid in. And as we can see, that's rocketing downwards now, as it does. That's hovering around 6.3. I'm happy with that. That'll do. That was a total guess. As I said, it's a new mix, and every time I mix up a new mix of either the MSU or the citric acid, I have to go careful because it may be stronger than the time before or weaker than the time before, and I need to keep adding some. So I'm now happy with what I'm going to feed my orchids with. But the experiment is this. Having brought my pH down, have I messed up my parts per million? This is what I'm after. And the simple answer, using citric acid as a pH down, the simple answer is no. My pH is still sat around 240. So the citric acid has done next to nothing to my parts per million. So the person in question said that they're when they brought their pH down using whatever they use, it took their parts per million up from about 250 to around 800. So my initial response is, I would suggest you use something else, because that shouldn't happen. Yeah. Now the problem I've got with pH is when I add my seaweed extract in, because that rockets the pH downwards quite dramatically. I must remember to rinse that. It knocks it down quite dramatically to a level I'm not prepared to have. So whenever I use my seaweed extract, I have to use pH up, because it takes it in the wrong direction. And all I use for pH up is bicarbonate of soda. Again, you can get that in the baking stuff. But a word of warning, you need the tiniest amount of that, and I really mean a tiny little bit on the end of your finger. That's all you need. If you put too much of that in, you'll rocket it up in the wrong direction. Yeah, so it'll go far too high. So that was just a quick check for me. I'm sure I've done this before, but you know, when you've set up your feed with all the bits and pieces that you want in it, and you've got your parts per million as you want it, if you add anything else in, you ought to check it again, really. You know, the parts per million is the final thing, the thing that the orchids are going to get. So if you're messing with pH after you've got your feed level, it's got to be worth rechecking to see what it's done to your parts per million. And if it's dramatically changing it, you might have to rethink. Yeah, I'm okay with the stuff I'm using, that seems to be fine, but it was worth checking. Okay, so now I've got to get on and do some watering. I'm way behind this week. Okay, see you next time. Bye for now.